to know you. Come with me, I'll show you. You can find me backstage, I'm a party with a Nicolas Cage. Girl, I want the body, you know you got a body like Nicolas Cage. You ain't gotta be scared, you ain't gotta be afraid, baby. It's just you and me alone tonight with Nicolas Cage.
Hey, this is Late Night Cage Fight. I'm Cagefighter Reece here with Cagefighter Steve and Cagefighter Sean. It's been a minute since you've heard from us. We all have had a lot of things going on. I don't always know what the future is of this podcast, but with Nick Cage's huge film coming out, right? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent just around the corner, and then this Reddit AMA that happened last Saturday. I felt the need for us to get something out there. We needed to contribute again to the Cageverse. Yeah, so we're here to discuss this awesome Reddit AMA. IGN is saying this is one of the most successful AMAs Reddit has ever done.
What does AMA mean?
AMA means Ask Me Anything. So essentially it's an interview that they do on Reddit.
I just asked you something. I asked you, what does AMA mean?
I just answered it.
No, you told me to ask you. I just asked you. What does it mean?
Ask me anything.
I just asked you, what does AMA mean?
This is why we don't...
Who's on first?
This is why we don't have a lot of content. Over the years, Steve and I have really butt heads over a lot of things, including Nicolas Cage.
What'd you call me?
What? Steve.
What'd you just call me?
Cagefighter Steve.
Did you just call me a butthead?
I didn't.
You're a butthead.
I'm excited to talk about this. The way this is going to go down, you guys haven't read through the questions. I'm going to read you the questions, and we're going to do a kind of game show style. I'm going to keep track of points. I'm going to give you each an opportunity to answer the way you think Nick Cage would answer the question. And whoever gets the closest gets a point. If nobody is even in the ballpark, then nobody gets a point. But it's just a little fun game we're going to play. And I basically took 21 of my favorite questions that were asked in the AMA. And yeah, it's, after having read through the AMA now, this interview, I'm almost convinced that Nick Cage has listened to our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly. Some of these answers are just... they surprise me, and I think they'll surprise you guys as well. So that's what will make this fun. I don't know if you can hear my kids screaming in the background, but that also will make this podcast a hell of a lot more fun.
Well, that's what torture rooms are for.
Because Cage has kids.
That's what torture rooms are for. That sounds appropriate. So yeah, we should plug, I already did, but we'll mention it again, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That's coming out soon, right?
It is. And it got the rather unprecedented 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, right now it's at 97%, according to Google. Unless it's a liar. It's probably a liar.
That's still really high.
Thursday, April 21st. Next week, guys. Next week, this movie drops right before Kawaii-Con.
So is this movie supposed to be
That's Honolulu's
Is this movie
anime
supposed
convention.
to be a sequel to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I have no idea what that is. Are you...
Yeah, I really don't know how to help you there.
Come on, Reese.
Yeah, it was a TV sitcom, ran for like 4 seasons back in 2015, starring Ellie Kemper.
But I mean, you guys know me by now. I'm not really a TV guy unless it's weird or unless everybody hates it. Then I've probably seen it.
No, because we can't get you to watch even those things.
That's true. That's true. Before we start going through the questions, let's just do a quick kind of status update here with everybody. It has been some time since we've made some content. We still want to get content out there in the Cageverse. This is just a great time to do it. And we love that you're out there listening to us. But I also have this other band that I joined recently. I'm the drummer in this video game band called Console VGM. We play video game music, and it's a lot of fun. We basically take retro video game songs and we convert them into like a modern rock type of style. So it's been taking me some time to learn these songs, and I'm in it with a great bunch of talented musicians. That's what's new with me. How about you fellas?
Oh, I have just been very busy working.
Working.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
Doing the marketing thing. Smartbug Media.
When you say working, do you mean like you're a working boy?
Yeah, I'm a working
Or do you
boy.
mean, like-
Slanging that D. You know.
Great.
What's your rates?
Well, it's so good to hear from you. It's been a while.
It has.
I'm glad that our love of Nicolas Cage can bring us all together. Cagefighter Steve.
It always does.
Cagefighter. I know it's kind of a transitional time in your life. I don't know how much you want to share.
That makes it sound a lot deeper than what it really is.
What do you mean? It's true.
I'm not really going through like the transition quite
my
yet.
God, Steve. All right, I'll just say it.
Yeah, I have a kid coming here very very soon. Another boy. Sometime in the next few weeks.
Whoa.
That soon?
Well, the due date is about 6 weeks from now, but we're also expecting him to be a little bit early. And turns out my mother-in-law has supposedly finally purchased her plane tickets and might actually be coming here to stay with us for
No way.
3 months.
Well, just remember, Steve, next week, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent premieres. Next Thursday. I mean, if your wife goes into labor...
Oh, yeah, that'll be after.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the labor will
We
be
just want to
after.
make sure.
She's going to be on labor for more than 2 hours in a chair, so it's fine. I'll catch the end.
Yeah. All right, just want to make sure. Yeah.
She'll be cool if you leave for.
I'm really only there for the credits, anyways. I mean, she's the producer.
All right, let's get into it. We got 21 questions from the Nicolas Cage Reddit AMA last Saturday, April 9th. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I wish I had a coin so I could do a coin toss. Who wants to go first?
Steve, you
this
can
question?
go first. I will secede.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1 comes from username Provocatrixless. They ask, what's the movie quote you hate most when strangers holler it at you in public?
Not the bees!
Did you say not the bees?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Sean?
I was going to say not the bees as well.
Yeah, he actually answered, I don't have a problem with any of the quotes. I'm glad they remember the movie.
I forget that he's actually a nice guy.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You have to come at it from that perspective.
I have to
Exactly.
think of Nick Cage and I have to think of Nick Cage as a person and not Nick Cage as an actor. Oh, that's tricky.
Yes.
That's tricky. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. No points for that one. 0 points. Next question comes from Aiden Hughes. He said, or she, evening, sir. What movie can you watch over and over and still not get bored? So he actually responded with 2 movies, and if either of you guess close enough, you'll get the point. And I'm not going to call on you guys. It's just if you have an answer, just shout it.
Well,
If you think you have an answer.
knowing that Nick is kind of a weeb.
Yeah.
I wonder if he would say something by like something samurai related, like a Kurosawa movie or something.
Okay. You know what? Keep going with the weeb train of thought. If you're close enough, I'm going to give you this point.
This doesn't have to be one of his own movies. This is just any movie.
No, not one of his movies. Any movies. Yep. If it's close enough in the genre, you'll get the point. Yeah, just throw some movies out there. Sean, okay, popular weeb movie. Just think of one. Throw it at me. Popular weeb movie.
Princess Mononoke.
Okay, Steve. Popular weeb movie. No hentai or yaoi or whatever tentacle stuff you watch.
I was actually going to say Last Samurai sarcastically, but
I would love if he had said Last Samurai. That would be so awesome. But no.
It's Nick, so I feel like it needs to be like something kind of more like X related. You know, something in like that wheelhouse.
X related.
Well,
Oh, I see.
similar-
Like
similar
you were
to the
saying,
movie
like
X.
Clamp X. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's something in that wheelhouse of movies.
Okay, so do you want to throw X?
Yeah, I'll throw X.
All right. I'll tell you this though, Steve. If he had chosen X, like I would be Nick Cage's second biggest fan after you, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm the third right now because Steve's number 1, Sean's number 2. But I would be number 2 if he said X. Actually, no. His movies that he can watch over and over and still not get bored are Apocalypse Now and Spirited Away.
Oh, I was so close.
So I'm going to give you that
That's a
point,
good one.
Sean.
That's a good one.
I'm going to give you that point. You said Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that's definitely closer.
I was just thinking, like, okay, what are the most popular Ghibli movies? It's like one of those two.
You know, I secretly believe that Nick has watched the more obscure anime titles and probably likes a lot of them, but he knows the perception if he says something like, I don't know, Bubblegum Crisis or
Yeah.
he's just something out there that nobody knows,
Yeah,
right?
he's not you. He still likes to actually appeal to his fans.
Yes. Thank you for that diss.
No, I remember the time that we got stopped in Japan and you made it a point to just pull out the most obscure Japanese movies that you knew just to try to troll the people that were interviewing us instead of just answering something that they would probably know.
Yes. Yeah. We were interviewed in Osaka by the local TV station, Steve and I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
years ago when I first went to my first time in Japan, I was there maybe I think
Yeah.
I was actually right when I got off the plane basically. I just arrived
and they asked us what our favorite movies were or something, you know, kind of like our own little AMA, and then I decided to pull out some Japanese titles.
Yeah.
And they were
Bible
like,
Black.
wow.
Because it was also
They're
one
like,
of those
wow, we haven't heard
stations
that before. Bible Black. I should have said Bible Black. I should have said that. Man, I would be so famous. I would be meme-ified.
Yeah, like David's son.
All right.
I'm just a really Christian.
Next question comes from Post Tour. What is your dream role that you have yet to complete? Think literature. Specifically fantasy or sci-fi literature. Not Ender's Game, Steve.
No, but I feel like it's similar to that. I feel like it would be kind of like a space explorer kind of deal, like a Star Trek and like a Star Trek kind of deal. Cowboy Bebop.
Is that your answer, Cowboy Bebop?
No, but it's definitely like space explorer. I just
Yeah, kind of. You're on the right track.
But more, I guess maybe more like superhero-esque space explorer. I don't
No, more classic literature.
Oh, classic literature.
Yeah, this comes from the past. This is definitely an answer that you would give to a room of English majors.
Well, yeah, there's where my problem comes in. Have you heard my command of the English language?
Just say something, man. Beowulf. I don't know.
I don't know any classic literature. That's why I said space explorer.
Any guesses, Sean?
I'm having trouble trying to think of like a classical sci-fi.
Yeah. All right.
Story.
All right. I'll give it to you. I'll just
Like
give it to you. Then.
Dune.
No, he said, I would like to play Jules Verne's Captain Nemo because of the character's love of the ocean. I share that with him. That's from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
That's the opposite direction of space.
No, but
it is, quite literally.
okay. Well, Jules Verne, wrote some kind of space stuff. Whatever.
I don't think I ever would have guessed that.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is definitely one for Sean. This comes from username Benny Williams. He asked, or she, one of your most fascinating performances to me was as Big Daddy in Kick-Ass. When you were crafting that performance, was Adam West the biggest inspiration for your superhero persona, or were there other sources you felt you drew more heavily from? Thank you and have a great day. How do you think he reacted to that? What would Nick
other
say?
sources for sure. He's a big comic book fan, and he has been all along. So I would say that he pulled a lot of his influences from a lot of more comic book sources, I guess. That's what I would think.
I feel like he would have said he like pulled inspiration from like Dark Knight Returns or something like that.
Well, actually what he says is he would give it all to Adam West. He said, I grew up watching him on the 60s Batman show, and he is where it begins and where it ends as Big Daddy. I met Adam West once, and I said, quote, did you see I was channeling you? And he said, quote, I saw you try to channel me. That was kind of a wholesome answer.
Yeah, it sounds like they have a really good, healthy relationship.
Yeah, all right.
I've just lost respect for Adam West, but that's okay.
What? All right.
Well, if he's going to shit talk Nick.
That's true. That's right. Yeah. I mean, that was he took it a little too far.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
That was uncalled for.
All right. Nope.
I thought it was kind of interesting that Adam West reprised his role in they did an animated movie that was a continuation of the original 60s series.
Okay. And how was that? Should I watch it?
Doesn't matter, you won't.
I've never seen it. It's on It's on HBO Max if you want to check it out.
It's not like you actually will, so no worries.
Cool. That's true. You never know, though. I checked out that one superhero show you told me to.
No, I'm pretty sure you haven't watched anything that we've asked you to watch, and if you do, it's the first episode, and then you just get bored.
Which one did you check out?
Next question comes from... I don't even know what it's called, Steve. What was it called? The superhero.
Which one? Which one? I've recommended numerous superhero shows.
The Netflix one.
I've recommended numerous ones on Netflix. It was either probably Guardians of Justice.
That one. Yeah, I watched the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I've also been asking you to finish Invincible.
Yes, I do want
Crooks,
to.
Invincible's so good.
The Hollow, I think, would also be good for you to watch, actually, with your kids. I think your kids would also enjoy The Hollow. But,
okay, I haven't even heard of that.
The Boys.
Sounds like Mahalo.
I know, because you don't listen.
I haven't seen The Hollow. I don't even know what that is.
What did Steve say?
It's fantastic. Actually, both Hollow, Kipo, and there's another, Glitch Techs. All of those are very kid-friendly, but also very nerdy kind of shows that I think would be very entertaining for you and for your children.
All right.
Because they are all, like, young Y7 rated movies, or shows, I'm sorry, and very, very entertaining.
Okay, Sensei Steve. I'll look them up. Yeah. I am interested.
And also Troll Hunters.
Well, Troll Hunters is too scary for my kids. They tried. It's too scary.
Well, then you need to train them better.
Luke H41 asked, if only 3 of your films could be preserved for posterity, which 3 would you choose? Yes, you may bring up Nick Cage's filmography, if that would help you. But I need an answer.
So do we each list off 3 movies?
Yeah. There are 3 movies that Nick Cage answers with.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leaving Las Vegas has got to be one.
All right. Time to Kill is not one. I'll just throw that out there. Neither is Deadfall.
No Deadfall.
We have covered 2 of them.
Yeah. Cotton Club's probably not one of them either.
What's that?
All right.
Okay.
You said we've covered 2 of them. So for the first one,
in the podcast.
Which season of the podcast?
The first one, well, I mean, you already got Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes.
The other one is from the previous season.
From season 2.
No, this is season 3 right now, right?
Currently, yes.
Yes, so it's from this one.
I say Face Off, Leaving Las Vegas, and Snake Eyes.
I guess I should probably be more specific and say it's not necessarily one from that same era. But we've covered it.
So, Leaving Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
The Rock,
Okay.
and Mandy.
Okay. Sean?
He already answered. Did you not listen to him when he talked?
Okay. His answers. Leaving Las Vegas, Pig, and Bringing Out the Dead.
Really?
Yeah. He has a lot of high praise for Pig because, well, a lot of people in the comments do.
Yeah,
And we did as well.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to our Pig review.
Yeah.
Bringing Out the Dead. We haven't watched that yet, have we?
No.
I just thought that was a line from Monty Python.
Yeah. That's probably what interested him in the project. But it turns out that this was one of his most popular movies, at least on Reddit. So before this podcast, dissipates into the ether like most podcasts, I think we should watch that one. All right, no pity points for you. Let's just move on. So far, Sean is leading with 1 point. Okay, this one comes from I don't know very much. This question he asked, or she, Ethan Hawke said that you're the first actor since Marlon Brando to do something new with the art of acting. Any thoughts on that? What do you think his thoughts are on his own acting, or what he's brought to the entire art of acting? I mean, this is kind of a question, right? This is like a narcissistic kind of question.
Marlon Brando, is that the ones that did the Final Fantasy rap?
What, Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Dwayne and Brando. My bad.
This is one guy, and he's kind of a well-known guy. Marlon. Yeah, old Marlon Brando.
My dad used to catch marlin.
What did he ask again? Sorry, I was fixated on my
He said,
jab.
Well, Ethan Hawke said you're the first actor since Marlon Brando to do something new with the art of acting. Any thoughts on that?
I feel like first he would praise Marlon Brando, talk about how Ethan Hawke is a good friend of his, and kind of laugh at that, and say something along the lines of that, he really tries to take every role seriously and bring a certain energy to every performance.
All right. Okay, Steve, any response? You don't have to have one if you don't. If you don't have one.
Do you not want me to have a response? Is that what you're saying?
No, I do, but only if you're passionate. Only if you're really passionate about it. That's why we do anything.
So, I mean, I agree with the humility aspect, where, yeah, of course, he would first try to be kind and say something nice here, but I also feel like one of his biggest inspirations has always been James Dean. So I feel like that might be part of his response as well. But ultimately, that his goal is never to do anything, but just to deliver a performance for his fans. He's a very humble actor.
Steve, you actually answered another question, and I'm going to give you the point for that by mentioning James Dean. Sean, since you mentioned the humility part of this answer first, I'm also going to give you the point for this one. Okay? And now I'm going to read the response. Nick Cage replied, "It's very kind of Ethan to say so. As you may well know, I've worked with Ethan in Lord of War and have always been spellbound by his talent. I think many of the choices I've made have been inspired by film stars from the silent era, as well as cultural expression of performance like Kabuki. and some of the Golden Age actors like Cagney. So I don't know how to say I've done something new because those elements are always on my mind. Any thoughts on that?
He's more articulate than I am.
Yeah, he has some pretty articulate answers.
Check out Ethan Hawke in Moon Knight on Disney Plus.
There you go. Okay, this is an interesting one.
Guy? Bad with actors, you know this.
He's the villain.
Oh, okay. Now I've got it placed. All right. Go ahead.
All right, here's a pretty cool question from Fred Howell. Who is a director you would like to work with? Who do you think he said?
I know this one too. We've talked about this.
Who would Nick Cage name drop?
I know we've talked about this. We've brought this up previously.
Yeah.
It was a trivia on one of the previous episodes, even. I think.
Yeah, probably.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay, Steve? Do you know any directors?
Not really. I was going to say Steven Spielberg because he's the only one that I actually know off the top of my head. But I know that's not the answer.
Or he'd be like Stanley Kubrick
M.
or
Night
something.
Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan. That one, I like that response. But actually, Sean got it. He said, I would love to work with Christopher Nolan. He also said, I would love to work with Ari Aster.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to work with Robert Eggers. Spike Lee, too.
I would love to see him in an Ari Aster movie.
I know, man.
I wouldn't, because that would mean I'd have to actually watch another one.
What did that other guy do?
Robert Eggers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did The Witch. He did The Lighthouse. He's got The Northman coming up.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard The Northman was really good.
I am pumped for that one. Super pumped. The Northman? The Northman?
Oh, Northman.
Steve?
Northman. I thought you said Norse.
It's about a bunch of Vikings in the north fighting the Confederates.
Wouldn't that be Norse? Isn't that Norse? No, seriously. N-O-R-S-E. Isn't that Vikings too? Norse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Well,
Yeah,
that's probably the Japanese title.
Is it? Okay.
Norseman.
I swear I've seen like Norseman or something. Maybe I was just talking to somebody at work about it.
It looks like a sick Skyrim movie.
It does. So, Sean, that looks like you're at 3 points. Steve, I'm giving you one for a question you haven't.
One pity point.
One pity point.
Jesus
One pity
Christ.
point. All right. Jagged Onomatomania asked, what's your... This is one for you, Steve. They asked him, what's...
What?
What's going on?
Play this with me?
Not right now, buddy.
He's colluding.
Hey, can you
Ask a
give
friend,
me any
huh?
answers about Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, do you know anything about Nicolas Cage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What's his favorite movie?
His favorite movie, like Super Wings.
Super Wings?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Alright, now go find your mom. I'd like to submit my answer. Nicolas Cage's favorite movie is Super Wings.
Yeah. Super Wings.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen that one mentioned anywhere.
That wasn't in the
I am
Reddit.
going to ask you, though. That wasn't in the Reddit. But the next question is, they asked him, what's your favorite pasta shape?
Dicks.
Did you say dicks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he lives in Japan.
he
You
would
know how it
totally-
works. He has a Japanese wife. He should totally be okay with that.
Uh-huh. He probably is, but he wouldn't admit that online.
No, he's actually Italian too, so he has a real answer,
Mm-hmm.
and you are probably the only one that actually would get the right answer.
Actually, yeah, and I wouldn't, because I have the answer here, and I would never have guessed this. Do you have a guess, Sean? What kind of pasta Nick Cage prefers?
He's got to say like soba noodles or like bow tie.
Okay, so he responds, I once went to an Italian restaurant in San Francisco about 25 years ago with Charlie Sheen because they had square tube pasta, and he was very interested in trying square tube pasta, and we did, and we loved it so much we went back the next day to try it again. I don't know if I've ever eaten square tube pasta. Steve?
Isn't that called ravioli?
I'm kind of picturing like a square rotini.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on that's just ravioli.
Okay. All right, next question. Destroying the Order asked, would you do a Face-Off 2? What do you think he said?
Absolutely. But it's already in the works. I've already told you this.
Okay, Sean?
Is he involved in the new one?
I don't know. I can't know
you have
everything.
all of the answers.
I feel like he probably would say that if they had a good script for it, then he might be interested. But he doesn't want to tarnish the
I see. That was a very safe answer, Sean, but Steve said absolutely, which was on the mark because Nick Cage just said yes. So, Steve gets the point. We got Steve with 2 points and Sean with 3.
That's all I really care about, because I'm starting to feel pretty embarrassed being a Cage podcast, and we're pretty much failing at the answers here.
That's all right. This next question is about Pig. Speaker Boxed asked, Pig was an absolutely incredible film. What drew you to that project, and why do you think that it struck a chord with so many people? Now, I know that the answer obviously is going to be a little more detailed, right? A little more.
I actually have an idea on this one.
Okay.
I think that he was drawn to the movie because of the polarizing differences here, right? The obscurity of being a movie that's centered around a pig, but also introduces so many like unique culinary elements, but also so much diversity when it comes to people and the way that they interact and what's important to them, and just the overall good aspects of life.
Mm-hmm. All right, I like that, Sean.
I feel like he probably emphasized I also think he emphasized the culinary aspects of the movie, but also the dramatic range of the character that he was able to bring to the role.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I'm not going to give any points for this one, but basically his answer is the pandemic, and then the way that the character expresses or is dealing with grief and isolation. He said, I was interested in returning to a more quiet, naturalistic style of film performance, having done a series of more operatic performance styles, which makes me laugh because I think, oh, you mean like Mandy and the Five Nights at Freddy's one and Jiu-Jitsu.
Did you know
operatic performance.
Did you know that they sold the soundtrack for Wally's Wonderland on cassette tape?
No, but that's pretty cool. I dig that.
Yeah.
He says, the movie feels rather like a folk song to me, we're talking about Pig, or a poem, and the character of Rob was contending with tremendous grief and self-imposed isolation, and I think we as a group of people experiencing a pandemic in 2020-21, we're probably also having similar feelings of loss and isolation, and it communicated to a nerve we were all experiencing. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's probably my best work. Wow. That's
Bold
pretty
words.
cool to read that from Nick Cage, his own opinion on his performance.
I wonder if he just feels that way because it's one of his more recent movies. I'm curious to see what his thoughts on it will be over time.
Yeah.
If it'll hold up.
That's fair.
I still say retrospectively, I mean, it was definitely a good movie. I don't remember what my initial responses were right when we watched it, but definitely I remember it being more enjoyable than some of the other films I've seen.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Nick Cage's, just in general. Watching Encanto a lot lately. I would definitely rather watch Pig.
Yeah.
Should have got the Oscar nom.
Actually, I don't like this next question, so I'm sorry. I'm taking it out.
Oh. So
the Bella Donga asked, would you ever return to playing Ghost Rider if Marvel asked you to? How do you think he responded to that?
Only if I get to be a part of the Avengers.
Okay.
I feel like he said yes, or he would be open to playing another hero for Marvel as well.
Yeah. He just said I would really need to see what they had in mind before answering that. So
that's kind of a cop-out answer.
we didn't get a clear answer on that one.
What I said was better.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is coming. We got a chance.
There you go. This is the one I gave to Steve. I'm just gonna read it. Cool guy, and actually the Redditor was Cool Guy Steve 21 asked, "Who is your favorite character in all of literature and film?" And Steve already answered this. He said, that is so hard to answer. I will say that James Dean's performance as Cal in East of Eden is largely the reason I became a film actor. His role in that is one of my favorite characters in cinema. But then we can go all the way to Rasputin, or we can go to Dmitry Karamazov. Dmitry is one of my favorite characters in literature. I love him so much because he's so happy and he has no money. He's just living it up. He spent all his money trying to get the girl. I did the same thing once. I was very Dmitry in high school. The most beautiful girl in high school, who was a grade older than me, invited me to the prom, but I had no money. My grandmother gave each of us a little bond. My older brother bought a car. My second oldest brother bought some stereo equipment, and I splashed out on a chauffeur-driven limousine, a tuxedo, and a 4-course meal at Le Dome on Sunset Boulevard. The car was $2,000, the stereo was $2,000, and my prom night was $2,000, and man, that was money well spent. That's Dmitry Karamazov.
So he's saying,
what an answer.
He got it in.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't have gotten that level. I might have still gotten James Dean, but
Nick Cage is such a romantic.
Yeah,
historically
I know.
speaking.
I often forget that. I often forget that even though his movies tend to be very abstract and crazy, that he himself is a very passionate, very classical kind of person. So that's what actually makes this very challenging, because him as a person often contradicts who he is as an actor.
Yeah, and I would argue that's probably the case with many actors.
Probably.
Holy
But I feel
moly.
like Nick tends to be more extreme in some ways.
Well, yeah, because he tends to accept extreme roles.
Well, but I mean, I also think he tends to be much more of an extreme person as an individual compared to many actors as well.
Well, yeah. And he's had some extreme life moments.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
As we know.
Yeah.
Holy moly, 1234 says, hello, good man. What are your favorite non-work related hobbies? What do you think? What are Nick Cage's non-work related hobbies?
Comics.
Okay, comics. It's kind of a generic answer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's very simplistic in that same sense. I mean, he's a nerd. He likes comic books. He likes video games. He likes. He's honestly had a big fan. He's always had a big interest in Japanese culture. So I would say maybe more of the realm of like anime, old samurai movies, that kind of stuff.
God, I wish.
No, the answer is probably something dumb like.
That's what I'm saying. It's very general.
Long walks on the beach.
Okay, close.
Women.
He says, it's a good question, albeit a difficult question, because everything I do ultimately informs my work. But if I had to make a list, I would say reading, watching cinema, and exercise.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we all know the truth, right? We all know anime, video games, hentai.
I'm pretty sure that Nick is actually, if I had to guess what his favorite hentai trope was, I would say it's probably tentacle rape.
He likes the brother sister stuff.
My God.
Is that one of the questions? Was that on there?
No, it wasn't. You guys are way off. I'm gonna start taking points away from you guys. Okay, EFS 120 asks, is there a performance of yours you feel gets misunderstood by fans who turn it into a meme or gag? I will tell you, he does not directly answer the question. He instead explores another part of it.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, he says, is there a performance of yours you feel gets misunderstood by fans who turn it into a meme or gag? I mean, he doesn't really answer it, so I'll just read this one to you. He says, well, let's talk about the difference between meme and the word gag. My understanding is that meme represents a symbol of a pop cultural movement of sorts. A gag is somewhere in the realm of a diss. And I don't look at anything anymore as a diss. I see it more as a recognition of some sort of expression. Which is, I really like that answer, because that's what I want to tell people that listen to this podcast who come in sometimes not really appreciating what they perceive as us dissing Nicolas Cage. I also don't see it as a diss. You know, I feel like we are honoring him by being critical of his performances or some of his roles, right? But we love it. We love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a strong, humble person to be able to take on a lot of the obscure roles and things that he does. I mean, you would never see a lot of like big name actors pick up some of like just the crazy obscure things that he does. But not only does he do it, but he brings 100% to it. You know, I've seen plenty of like movies that are not like top dollar movies but they've gotten top dollar actors to do them, and you can tell that they don't put their heart into it. But regardless of how ridiculous the character is, Nick always puts all of his energy into it. I think that's
exactly.
Do I get a point for that?
Like, no points for that, but I may have to throw that soundbite in somewhere else, because that was just a great answer. Yeah. What I love about... Go ahead, Sean.
I bet he's proud of every single performance that he's done, honestly. I mean, he just seems like that type of person. He, he clearly loves what he does, and I think, while he could come off as arrogant in some ways, I think he is humble about what he does deep down.
I agree with you, Sean. I think, because I think that it takes a certain type of person to be proud of everything that you do. To be able to bring that energy to even the most obscure roles. You're absolutely right. He is proud of everything that he's done, because he knows that everything he's done has been the best that he could bring to it. And man, I think if more people actually followed his ethics of how to bring yourself forward, that the world will be a better place. I just want to retain at very least I want to retain my right as the number 1 Nick Cage fan. So, man, even if I lose this competition.
Wow. I think you deserve it. Yeah, that's fine. And all of this leads me into this next question. It's a pretty deep one. Asked by ANCAP Mike. Asks, Nicolas Cage, ANCAP, ANCAP Mike. Yeah. He asks, do you like bees? And Nicolas Cage answered it.
Yeah.
So
perhaps the answer was not the bees.
That's not the answer.
All right, Sean.
I bet he took a completely serious answer to this and talked about how bees are such amazing creatures, and the way that they're able to communicate and thrive in the
value of the world.
Sean, you get the point. You get the point. Yeah. So, do you like bees? Nick Cage says, yes. I would have to say they're my favorite insect. They make us honey. Bees, and then the firefly. And ants are interesting. Bumblebees are quite adorable. Don't get me started on the praying mantis. I told David Cronenberg once that the praying mantis was the most ferocious of the insects. And he said no. And I said, what is? And he said the dragonfly larvae. And he said that the beast in the Alien movies was designed after the dragonfly larvae because it shoots its teeth out
fucking iguanas
when it attacks.
I'd be really happy if the next question was, do you like jazz?
There were some questions, obviously, that went unanswered. A few that I found funny, but I didn't take note of them because I don't want to give these Redditors any more credit than they deserve here. You know what I mean? If Nick Cage decided not to answer your question...
Yeah, I hope you get downvoted for that.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm not...
If anyone wants to know Reese's Reddit account user so that you can just go and downvote all of his posts and fuck up his karma, please private message me and I'll send it to you.
Yeah. That's great. There goes Steve again, ruining my life.
That's what I do best.
Doxed by Steve.
PM Your Inner Thigh asked Nicolas Cage. I have two regarding the movie Willy's Wonderland. I don't know why they used the word movie. They should have said film or moving motion picture masterpiece. Did you or the director decide that you would not say a single word in the whole movie? And two, every time you went to, quote, recharge, grab a can from the six-pack, was it secretly filled with alcohol or anything like that?
So, I actually know the answer to this one because I did the research on this one for the movie. Nick got actually excited about doing a movie where he didn't have any lines. Yeah. That was one of the main reasons that he took this role. Because of his interest in the old silent movies, actually. So I don't know if this was actually his answer, but this was his answer originally. But that's why he took the role in this, was because of his interest in old silent movies, and he wanted to be able to do a voiceless role because I think it was also some level of pride there that he wanted to prove that he could do that without speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Sean. Any response?
I bet he said that it was already something that was in the script originally because it was loosely based on the game with a silent protagonist, but and I bet he answered no, they were not filled with alcohol.
Steve gets the point.
I want to hear the response, though.
Steve, you get the point. Yeah, Nick Cage, he said, the dialogue for my character in Willy's Wonderland was very sparse, so I decided with Kevin, the director, to go full Harpo Marx and take all the dialogue out because I thought that would be a fun acting challenge to see how much I could communicate without words and only with movement and facial expressions. I'm very happy with the results of Willy's Wonderland. It was a good experiment. The can question is an interesting one, and I hesitate to answer it for you because your relationship with the movie is far more important than my relationship with the movie, and so you as the audience member can imagine and surmise whatever you want to be in that can. That is a far better answer and reason for the can than anything I could tell you. I want your opinion as to what was in the can because that was the right opinion. Wow. What a guy.
I love that.
Yep. Yeah, that is a great answer. That's a
great response. Yeah.
Okay, so we got Sean. We got Sean with 4 points, and we got Cagefighter Steve with 3.
I got a chance.
That's what I'm tracking. Okay, Fly in X asked, Lord of War is one of my favorite examples of, quote, there's a lot more to this in cinema. Do you feel like this movie impacted your career significantly? Which, Sean, I know you haven't watched Lord of War yet, right?
I have not.
Yeah, Steve and I have seen it many years ago. So it may not, you may not be able to answer
I don't know that I'm any better suited to answer this, though, to be honest with you. I was excited when I heard Lord of War because I will admit, for me personally, Lord of War is used to be jokingly one of my least favorite Nicolas Cage movies because it was one of the few that I felt like he brought a holistic, albeit normal kind of, air quotes, normal, deliverance to a movie. Instead of taking it and looking at Nick as being the comical B-list actor, I feel like he brought a full-on like action hero star performance to that movie.
Yeah.
So Lord of War for me has always been a very interesting Nicolas Cage movie specifically, but in lieu of this question, it's very challenging to answer.
For me, it felt like he was kind of bringing back that era of The Rock and Face Off. He was kind of bringing that back.
But even then, I mean, looking at Rock and Face Off, I mean, even looking at them again more recently, I still feel like they were silly in some ways. Whereas Lord of War, I feel like never really had a silly moment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It was serious.
Yeah,
the whole time.
It's played pretty straight. His answer
there was no Cage out.
No, he says, I think Lord of War is the best movie I made pertaining to a political situation, and I think that it's influenced other movies like Wolf of Wall Street. I think the narrative and voiceover work and the portrayal of a reprehensible gun runner in the light of an attractive, charming personality was ahead of its time. And I would agree with that answer.
Yeah. I feel like that's pretty much in line with my feelings on his role, so that's good.
All right, so the next question has to do with the upcoming epic Nick Cage massive talent movie.
Unbearable Weight of Massive
Big Nick talent.
Yeah, Big Nick talent. Seabass VA11 asks, you and Pedro Pascal, who's also in the movie, you and Pedro seemed like you had so much fun making this movie. What is one story you don't mind sharing that you haven't yet about your experience with filming and working with Pedro? You guys aren't going to know this, so I'll just read this one to you as well.
No, give us a chance.
You want to guess?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think we both need at least an opportunity to see what we think his feeling was. Sean, you can go
what
first.
Story do you think he tells? What kind of story?
Sean, please go ahead. You can go first. I'm a generous kind of guy.
I mean, they definitely did coke off each other's erect penises.
God.
Yeah, what Sean said. Except louder, so that I win.
Okay. Well,
with the Mandalorian helmet on.
That is a great guess. He actually said, first and foremost, Pedro Pascal is a genuinely nice man. You couldn't ask for a nicer, more pleasant person to work with. Second, he has a very unique sense of humor. It's the kind of sense of humor where I don't know if he's really making a joke or he isn't making a joke. Also, like my kind of humor. Such as comment about the appearance of a cabbage in a cabbage field. And it made me wonder if he was a method actor and was in character and adding a kind of confused dimension to the Javi role, or if he genuinely thought the cabbage was amusing. I'm still confounded by this. I mean, who makes a joke about cabbage except him? It's just not funny.
Actually, Avatar. Avatar makes jokes about cabbage constantly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's actually riddled throughout the entire Avatar series.
All right, here's a good chance. Here's a good chance for you guys.
Also, by the way, I think Sean technically gets the point for that one.
Really?
He did say something about sucking dick or snorting coke or something like that, and it pretty much sounds like that's what Nick did in that comment.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you, but thank you.
Okay, that's fine, because I like points.
Gitka Gamer asks, what genre of movies do you like best, Nick Cage? What genre of movies?
So, man. I mean, I would say to a degree he appreciates the classics, but as far as what he genuinely would sit down for, I mean, I think it's a little bit of it's a little bit of all of them, right? It's he likes the diversity. There's not like a clear-cut winner. He just, he likes something that people really put their hearts into and really feel passionate about.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he probably would say, maybe fantasy or sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would have guessed too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually said independently spirited dramas. And by independently spirited, I mean the types of stories and characters that studios are too chicken to touch.
That's the most hipster answer he could have given.
Do I get that one?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was in Mandy, so. How many points do you have, Sean?
You were supposed to be the one keeping track.
I know.
I thought
man.
you were legitimately keeping track. Are you not?
I know. I
You are
am.
a
I just gotta scroll up.
Terrible game show host.
I know. I knew it was coming.
You're like that guy that ran Jeopardy for like a week.
Sean has 4. Steve has 2. Yeah.
I had 3 a minute ago. What the hell?
I'm missing one. It was
Did
3
I lose a
then.
point
It's
for
3.
being an asshole? I probably lost a point for being an
It's
asshole.
3.
No, I
It's
thought
3.
you subtracted one.
I just assumed because I'm always pissing people off.
No, I didn't. All right, we got Sean at 4 points, Steve at 3. Hey, Nick, what would be your opening chess move? It's kind of a boring question and a boring answer. Do you just want to...
Pawn to d4.
All right.
He I bet he is the type of person that would start with his knight.
Sean gets the point.
Knew it.
He said, I take the knight and move him forward first.
Bold move.
Wow.
Is also kind of a dumb move.
So we got Sean now at 5 and Steve at 3.
All right.
You should have watched that Netflix chess miniseries.
The one that was based off of Arrow, Queen's Gambit. There we go.
Yeah. The one about pills.
I watched it.
I didn't because every time I saw Queen's Gambit, I just assumed it was going to be the backstory of freaking Arrow.
So this is actually the last question, fellas.
Pills, baby.
This is the last question, and I'm going to make it worth 2 points just to give Steve a chance to tie it up, and then we can have sudden death, which I'm not prepared for. Here's the question. It comes from a Mr. Blaline, and it just reads, favorite period in history? How do you think Nick Cage responded? Okay, you think Renaissance? The Italian Renaissance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a difference, but yeah.
All right. Well, Sean is technically closer, but it's still incorrect, so no points will be given. The answer is, I would like to think that being in the 50s in the United States would have been a whole lot of fun with the swing dancing and the introduction of Elvis Presley and the great work of James Dean and Marlon Brando. I would have liked to be around for that, and the music was pretty great. Automotive design was spectacular. That's when the U.S. had the edge on the design. We had Raymond Louis and Harley Earl.
I just assumed that after doing Amos and Andrew, he wasn't a fucking racist anymore.
Well, you thought wrong, I guess. Yeah, I remember when I saw this on Reddit, there was one person who responded that said, oh, well, I wouldn't have had a very fun time because I'm black.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, you can expect that kind of reaction when you say the 50s. But I kind of agree, though, that the 50s would be interesting to experience because I feel like that's a time that we're never even going to come close to experiencing again.
That's true. Too much equality nowadays.
Yeah, that's totally what I mean. Yeah, thanks. But just with all the innovation and, you could work like a shitty job and afford to have a nice place for yourself. And
whereas it's the other way around nowadays where you could work a nice job and still not afford a nice place.
You could talk to females at the bar and it wouldn't have to be on Tinder.
Or with a third-party present.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if I told you, I actually brought that story up during my interview for my new job.
Really?
They asked me for the most difficult situation, and I tried giving a cop-out answer, and they doubled down on it, and for some reason, that flew into my head, and I repeated it, and I insta-regretted it so hard.
If you're going to share that,
I followed through.
You did. Do you want to tell the story?
Do you want me to tell it in the terms of what it really was, or what I said in my job interview?
I don't know. I'm afraid of both, actually. I'm terrified.
Yeah. So I used to work as a manager of a print shop, and so we had a department, and basically their job was to print out the artwork and deliver it to the processing teams that were outside working on fulfilling the orders, basically. And I had one particular individual that he was a really chatty guy. He was a great guy, it really was, but he was just really, really chatty. And so I got approached by the team out there that he was being very distracting. So me being the supervisor, the manager of that department, my job was to sit him down and deal with this issue. He was also a, I don't know, 60s, 50s. I mean, how old did you say he was? I don't know. 50s, 60s.
I would
age,
guess late 50s.
Black man. And he very instantly assumed that me, being at the time, like an early 20s white kid that clearly was just getting my life figured out and barely knew what I was doing, I assumed that I was just doing this because I was a racist. And so his response to me was that I'm not going to take this crap. I want a third party.
He wasn't going to speak to his supervisor without a third party. I remember this very well.
Exactly. Yeah. So, God, the reality of the situation, I think he pretty much walked out of the meeting with me, went up to other people, and everybody else just kind of dealt with it. Well, I sat there absolutely mortified that this is even happening.
Right.
The story that I told my in my job interview, God, I hope nobody listens to this, is that well, I dealt with.
Wow.
Well, in reality, I was freaking terrified. And I honestly thought that I was going to be fired for being racist. I still really like him. I really regret the fact that any of that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how did you tell him that he was talking a little bit too much? What was your tone? Do you remember your words exactly?
I'm always bad with my tone. I mean, you know this. I was used to a lot of my other people in the department that I could just be like a lot more free and kind of spin it with. I had a guy in my department that was he was one of those people that would be on the TLC show. The one about people that are over 600 pounds and struggling with life. He was one of those guys, and I had to pull him in usually 2 or 3 times a year to have conversations about people complaining about the aroma that he would spread while walking. And I would usually be straight up with him, and I would just say, like, it's that time of year again. He goes, it's my smell, isn't it? I'm like, yes, it is, man. Why don't you just wear an air freshener as a necklace and just call it a day? Worked with him. He was pretty much on my level. We were straightforward about these things, but obviously those are the kind of things the HR would tell you do not ever say to a human being, because that's a horrible, horrible thing to say. But I guarantee that if he was watching this, he would be like, that's me! Yeah. That's me! He's referencing me!
Yeah. He's probably also a huge Nick Cage fan.
I think, and that's why I say, I think there's actually an active chance that he could be one of our viewers. So if he's listening, awesome. Dude, I actually think about you pretty often. So,
Great. Well, guys, Sean, Cagefighter Sean, you've won tonight, and I want to let you know that your prize, you have won a collection of 10 free late night cage fight stickers sent directly to your door. Are you excited? You can put these stickers on your laptop, on your basement door. Did I just say door with a W? Door?
Door.
Steve, are you okay?
Window of your vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, Steve's a little broken up because he wanted some of these stickers. I actually think I gave you guys some of the stickers last time I saw you.
if I was a Nicolas Cage fan, Reese, how could I get some of these stickers if I wanted some?
Oh, that's a great question, Cagefighter Sean. All you would need to do is send us a message on our Facebook page. Just search Late Night Cage Fight. You'll find us. You'll see our awesome art made by artist Gabe Ryerson. And you just hit that messenger. Send us a line. Say, hey, I want a sticker. And one of us will be like, yeah, where do you live? And then we will send it to you. We will not personally show up at your door.
I might.
Steve might. But yeah, I'm no kayfabe for real. I'm happy to send anybody a free sticker or a free set of stickers. And to be honest with you, I should have measured how big these things are. They're a little bigger than I wanted.
I measured them, but I did not use measuring tape. So
yeah, they're like,
if you can put it in terms of trimmers, I can tell you they're about a quarter.
Yeah,
trimmer.
they're like a 4x6, or are they're more square? Maybe like a 5x5. I don't even remember. It's been so long. They're just rotting right now.
They're like a quarter to a third of a trimmer. So
yeah. But no, they do look pretty sharp. And if you want one, just hit us up. You can also email us at latenightcagefight@gmail.com. We love reading your emails.
The G is not silent.
Lots of good stuff. No, the G is not silent in that at all, ever. So yeah, this is Late Night Cage Fight. This was a lot of fun, guys. I want to get this out quick. Definitely before The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent hits theaters next week. This is a great lead-in. You can expect a review from us.
We're going to watch
once that comes out. And we're also working on our next Versus episode. That'll come out shortly as well. We watched Con Air and Face Off. We had a blast with that one. That's in the editing phase. And then hopefully we can debut a special guest, or guests plural, for our end of season cage fight. We do want to keep this thing rolling. And then, yeah. Keep checking us out. Keep watching Cage movies and let us know what you'd like to hear from us. You know, we are watching these movies chronologically, but as this podcast kind of, it's not consistently being updated, I might be more open to taking requests and we could watch specific movies if you guys want. But yeah, we do also want to do at least one more Cageless by the end of the season. So stay tuned for that as well. Thanks for listening to Late Night Cage Fight. I'm Cagefighter Reece, here with Cagefighter Sean and Cagefighter Steve, saying thank you and goodbye.
Have a good night.